Mr. President, 11 years ago, in September 2006, I stood before this august body as the newly elected president of the Republic of Liberia and the first woman to be democratically elected as head of state on the African continent. When I speak to women in Africa and across the world, I am humbled by the inspiration drawn from my experience. The next generation must belong to women. Today, I address you for the last time as I bring to closure my 2 terms of elected office. Liberia is just 22 days away from historic legislative and presidential elections. It will mark the first time in 73 years that political power will be handed over peacefully and democratically from one elected leader to another. This paves the way for the next generation of Liberians to lead the country into the future. The election will signal the irreversible course that Liberia has embarked upon to consolidate its young post-conflict democracy. Indeed, democracy is on the march in Liberia, and I believe on an irreversible path forward on the African continent. I thank all of our partners who have made meaningful contributions, financial and in kind, to ensure peaceful elections, and those organizations which will deploy observer missions to attest to the integrity of the elections process. Mr. President, I assume office after 25 years of development reversal, which was further compounded by a 15-year civil war. We have made great progress and laid the foundation for the next democratic government. We have reshaped the armed forces of Liberia and the Liberian National Police, professionalized our customs and immigration services, and small Liberian Coast Guard. We are proud to report that since the formal turnover of security responsibilities to our government, Liberia has remained stable, peaceful, and secured. We transformed the economy from a growth rate of less than 0 to more than 8.7% in 2013, until the health crisis and plummeting commodity prices brought a downturn to our economic recovery. Liberia has adjusted. We are resilient, embracing diversification. Our focus today is towards strengthening the agriculture sector for value addition and infrastructure development, with emphasis on roads and energy industrialization. Previously dysfunctional public institutions now have the capacity to respond to the needs of our citizens through decentralized county service centers with ownership by strong local governments. And from the tragedy of the health crisis, we are strengthening our healthcare systems, prioritizing prevention, and delivering capacity at the community level. Impact is being felt. Life expectancy progressed from a low of 47 years to a hopeful 62 years, with reduction in maternal death from 1,400 to 1,100, an annual rate of reduction of 3.4%. Poverty rate has decreased from 63.8% in 2007 to 50.9% in 2016. Infrastructure has been repaired and restored, and we continue to rehabilitate damaged roads and construct new ones. With the increasing provisions of electricity, potable water, and technology, cities and towns are bustling with new life. It is now possible to receive voice and data on your phones and mobile devices from virtually everywhere in the country at competitively low prices. Liberia has enjoyed the benefit of multilateralism through full support provided by the United Nations, the African Union, and the Economic Community of West African States. From a pariah state, Liberia has gradually regained the confidence of nations and even risen to assume leadership roles in regional bodies, specifically ECOWAS and the Mono River Union. I was personally privileged to play a role in the formulation of the Sustainable Development Agenda as co-chair of Secretary General Ban Ki-moon's high-level panel on SDGs, and in framing the African Common Position as chair of the African Union's high-level committee. Mr. President, there is so much more to share about Liberia's post-conflict transformation, how we have empowered ordinary citizens and a shared sense of citizenship, giving women, including market and rural women, a voice and the right to be heard. We have continued to transfer the healthcare and educational system, engender the entrepreneurial spirit in our youth, in our vibrant media and civil society. We are establishing trans-border development corridors to enhance regional trade and strengthening the rule of law to tackle systemic undermining of integrity. Liberia is experiencing the birth of a post-conflict artistic community in song, hip-hop, painting, poetry, storytelling, and fashion. Liberia has come a long way. We could not have accomplished all of this without the world body, its political leadership, the generosity of its economic development support, humanitarian contributions, and most importantly, the stabilization and security provided to our country through the United Nations mission in Liberia, UNMIL. I applaud you, Mr. President, your predecessors, the member nations and UN civil servants around the world who have sacrificed for us to see the very first generation of school-age children growing up in an environment of peace, free of violence, of civil conflict. Liberia's transformation was powered by a world community that made a shared commitment to deliver peace to a country and a sub-region, beset by civil conflict and cross-border destabilization. The UN and its partner nations were of one mind, and from that global unity, a new Liberian democratic state was born. Liberia is a post-conflict success story. It is your post-conflict success story.